Did you know self-sabotage doesn't always look like failure? Most of the time, it actually looks like procrastination. It looks like staying busy with all the wrong things. It looks like telling yourself you'll start Monday, and deep down inside, you know you won't. And I'm saying this not to call you out. I'm saying it because I've lived this. I've done this too many times than I want to admit. So today in this video, I want to walk you through 5 ways that you might be sabotaging yourself, even if you don't realize it yet. And more importantly, I want to connect it to one thing is how it's making you lose trust with yourself. I thought for years that I was lazy or had a discipline problem, or maybe I just wasn't meant for success. Like success wasn't meant for me. But that wasn't actually the problem looking back. The problem was that I broke so many promises to myself, even tiny promises. I broke promises that I'd wake up early. I broke promises that I'd follow a schedule in my old businesses. I broke promises to myself and my relationships. I broke promises to saving money and investing. I mean, the list can go on and on. So I broke a promise to myself every single time. So what happened over time is that subconsciously I stopped believing myself when I promised myself I would do something. I stopped believing anything I said to myself. And once all that trust is gone, self sabotage starts to creep in. It starts to creep in very subtly, but it's very deadly. And over the years, it starts to build on top of each other. It makes this fortress of self sabotage that is hard to get out of. We usually don't want to get there first, but some of us end up finding ourselves there and not even knowing it. It's kind of like when I was really overweight. I didn't really know I was overweight until one day I looked in the mirror. The day I decided that I needed to lose weight and I was serious about it, I didn't realize how big I got. So here's what you've been waiting for, the 5 signs you're self sabotaging. Number one, you overplan, but you never start. I remember when I had my travel blog, I had a travel blog years ago. I would make this crazy plan, this whole days of work, like from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. I would schedule everything out and I'd figure out what I would do every day. Well, I'd figure out what I would do for the week. This is what I need to do every single day. And it was kind of the same thing. So I planned this perfect routine, this perfect business plan, the way I would get things done. And sometimes I would even plan working out and part of that day. But if I didn't wake up on time or I needed to get something else done before I started my schedule, it all got backed up and I just wanted to curl up in a ball and die. And for some reason, that start button never got started. Starting that schedule was impossible for me. I might do it for 1 or 2 days, but I'd burn myself out quickly and not want to do it anymore. Try to get back into it a few days later and it wouldn't happen. Like that planning part felt super productive, but what it really was procrastination all dressed up nicely because it never really got my business to where it needed to be. I never got the stuff I needed to do done. I just planned to get those things done, which didn't help me whatsoever. To a certain point, planning is great, but over planning is a problem because clarity feels great, but it's action that actually builds confidence. So you want to put those actions into play. You actually want to do things. And if you have too many things on your plate, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do. It's kind of like paralysis analysis. The more you plan, the scarier things start to feel. Like the more you try to figure out what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, instead of just doing it, it gets scarier to do it. You start to wonder where to start. I had a plan of what to do. What happened was my brain got dopamine from planning. But all that planning, there's no real progress in. You have to do to have the progress. We all need to do something. I mean, you got to get out there and do it. So try not to overplan things. Try to plan out 1 or 2 things out for the day, the most important things, and try to get those done, especially if it's a business or a weight loss program or even in like a relationship. You can plan on doing something together. I mean, just to keep the relationship going and keep it healthy. It doesn't have to be bad for you to plan to do something. Number 2 is you aim for perfect so you never finish. That's a funny one, right? I mean, you start telling yourself, I'll start when the plan is perfect, when my planner is perfectly set out, or I'll launch when I'm ready. You start telling yourself you'll show up when you feel confident. And at times in my life, this is how I felt. Like things weren't perfect enough to do or start. And really, they don't need to be perfect. You need to just start it, get it out there before it's perfect. Because perfection doesn't actually exist. It's a facade. It's another reason you're sabotaging yourself because you actually don't want to get it out. You need to just push it out, whatever it is. I heard this quote before that perfection is just procrastination with good PR. So stop procrastinating. And to actually get real confidence with things, that comes after you make action. You make messy action, not before it. The little tiny pieces of action that you actually push forward with things is what builds your confidence. Even the most successful people, they cringe at their first draft, their first video, their first relationship, their first time they went to the gym. But why they're professionals now is because they did it anyways, even when it was messy. I've had so many experiences with that. I cringe at so many things that I've done in the past, but it's okay because I get better with time, and I get better with practice, and I get better when I push more things out, especially like videos. The more I push more videos out, the better I get at talking on them, shooting them, fixing the lighting, all the things that I need to learn. And I realize the more that I push things out without them being perfect, the more I learn. I kind of learn on the fly. And you can do that with every aspect of your life. Number three is that you stay busy, but you avoid the hard things. And this one kind of ties into the last two. You start to convince yourself that you're working hard on easy things. But deep down inside, you know you're avoiding the things that actually move the needle. And what moves the needle is how you learn, how you move forward, and how you achieve your goals. So that needle needs to be moved. So you must do the hard things. Doing the hard things is what makes things easier over time. You catch yourself doing things like answering emails, organizing your desk, cleaning your apartment, but you end up avoiding things like working out. Maybe you can make a call and make a sale or build this big project that you always wanted to build. Like I said earlier, I would fill my schedule up with things. As I look back now, a lot of those things were just easy things. They didn't actually move the needle in my business, which is probably why it failed. I filled the schedule with things that I like to do. And most of the time, the things that I like to do weren't the things that really pushed business forward. They were more creative instead of business orientated. And we do this with a lot of factors in our life. I've even caught myself doing it at the gym where I would do exercises that felt good to me, not exercises that were hard for me. And I find the harder exercises to do at the gym were the ones that I needed to do. Those were the ones that I need to improve on. And keeping yourself busy on the easy things is the best hiding place for self sabotage. And avoiding the hard things is the number one killer of confidence. Number four is you break small promises to yourself daily. I've told myself multiple times these things. I'll get up early. I'll start meditating. I'll stop scrolling. I never did. I never stopped these things. So I had to stop telling myself I would stop doing these things or do these things. Because every time I told myself I would do something that I never did or wouldn't do something that I still end up doing, my brain started telling myself that I couldn't be trusted. So you have to be very careful of what you tell yourself that you're going to do or what you're not going to do. Because over time, those broken promises can be very detrimental. And even though they seem like small little promises to yourself, those small micro moments are the most important moments, not the grand gestures of the huge ideas that you're going to complete and the huge goals that you're going to do. That's not where confidence is built. The small little promises is what you can build, like little steps towards the big goals. And those broken self promises create some sort of identity inconsistency, which means your vision of your identity doesn't seem consistent to yourself. And when it doesn't seem consistent, you kind of lose who you are. So the thing you need to do here is when you make these little promises, make sure they're little promises that you can keep to yourself. They don't have to be anything serious to start off with. I actually have another video of how to build back your confidence in yourself and your self-worth. It should be up here somewhere. And I'll put a link in the description and you can check it out. Number five is that you keep telling yourself next time over and over again, meaning you'll tell yourself things like, I'll start next Monday, or maybe next month or next year. But there's a problem with this. Your brain starts to believe that your progress only exists in the future. Like the progress is always later. So progress never gets done, never gets achieved. It never happens now or soon. And the truth is, there is no next time. Next time means I'll make more excuses to myself next time. And if you don't start changing now, your future self doesn't just magically wake up all different and improved. Your future self will only wake up different and improved if you start to change now. And just like setting up that schedule, that delayed gratification feels good right now because you're planning to do something later. But what it really does is kill momentum. Now, look, self sabotage isn't always loud. It's not always dramatic and in your face. 99% of the time, it's quiet, it's comfortable, and it's built little by little over time. And why it's dangerous is because it's disguised with good intention. But if you really want to build real confidence in yourself and stop sabotaging, you got to stop waiting, stop over planning, and stop ghosting your own potential. The best thing to do is start with one tiny promise to yourself that you can actually keep to yourself. That's if you really want to build self trust, confidence, and self worth all over again. You got to start small. So pick one thing today. And if you need help with the process, I built a 5-day self trust plan. It's basically just 5 emails, one per day, very short emails, and it helps you to build your self trust all over again. It's like 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all you need. And I'll show you how to rebuild self trust with yourself again, one quiet win at a time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out my other videos. This one's pretty good. This one will help you with your confidence and your self trust also.